Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an engineering executive, CTO, or a technical hiring manager, you already know the painful truth. The gap between a bold business vision and actual engineering reality is exactly where most projects fail. Today, we're analyzing the professional blueprint of Dhaval Baraiya. We aren't just looking at a standard developer here. We're looking at a deeply deterministic, execution-driven architect. This is someone who takes those complex executive mandates and translates them into highly scalable, production-ready systems.
Here is a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. The execution-driven architect. 2. Generative AI and cloud innovation. 3. Proven enterprise scalability. 4. Operational excellence and leadership. And finally, 5. The authoritative close.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1, the execution-driven architect and building that foundation.
We're going to anchor his credibility right out of the gate with this number, 11. Dhaval brings 11 years of high-velocity, full-stack engineering experience to the table. But what's absolutely crucial here isn't just the time, it's the density of that experience. This includes a dominant 7-plus-year tenure architecting at scale for Tata Consultancy Services, which is arguably one of the most demanding enterprise environments in the world. He isn't just tinkering or experimenting, he's building mission-critical systems for massive global clients.
You know, a standard developer, they take a ticket, they write some code. But an execution-driven architect, like Dhaval, operates with a rapid learning mindset and a focus on radical transparency. He essentially acts as an engine of business value, constantly translating abstract business visions into deterministic, highly reliable engineering systems. He doesn't just write the code, he owns the architecture, the integration, and most importantly, the final outcome.
Moving on to Section 2, Generative AI and Cloud Innovation, or, as I like to call it, Engineering the Future. So, let's look at the engine under the hood of his first Innovista award, the ELN Summarizer. Dhaval operated as the sole architect and engineer on this generative AI tool. The business problem? Pharmaceutical research teams were facing a massive information bottleneck. They were spending countless manual hours just trying to extract precise scientific metrics from unstructured drug discovery documents. So, Dhaval built a high-performance async REST API using Python Fast API and Claude models, and he incorporated chemistry-aware text parsing to maintain absolute data fidelity.
But here's what that tech actually means for the business. The ELN Summarizer cut document analysis time by a staggering 80%. That translates to 12 hours a week saved per researcher. By solving this massive operational bottleneck, all while maintaining 95% data fidelity, Dhaval directly drove substantial six-figure revenues for the initial delivery. This right here is exactly what we mean by bridging engineering with hard business outcomes.
And this brilliantly illustrates his capacity to innovate across completely different domains. His second award-winning innovation is the Cloud Infrastructure Automation Assistant. Look, manual Kubernetes manifest creation is historically plagued by environment drift and frustrating review bottlenecks. Dhaval engineered a chat-guided natural language processing assistant that maps plain text, everyday language intent directly into deterministic production-ready Kubernetes deployments using strictly governed YAML templates.
Listen, these aren't just marginal little improvements. This automation slashed manifest preparation time by 92%. We're talking about taking a process that used to take 6 hours and shrinking it down to just 30 minutes. Furthermore, it cut configuration-related deployment failures by 60% and review iterations by 75%. He literally engineered the friction right out of the deployment pipeline.
All right, Section 3. Let's talk about proven enterprise scalability and handling massive loads.
Think back to the height of the pandemic. Legacy lab management software just completely buckled under the sheer volume of diagnostic tests that were required. Operating as a core developer, Dhaval was instrumental in architecting a custom, cloud-native laboratory information management system built entirely from scratch on the PERN stack. So that's Postgres, Express, React, and node.js.
The magnitude of this architecture is honestly staggering. This custom LAMS boosted clinical diagnostic capacity 20-fold. It was engineered with configurable workflows and secure chain of custody tracking so it could seamlessly and securely process over 100,000 diagnostic samples right when the world needed it the absolute most.
Now, why does this matter to you? Because that technical scale translates directly into executive language. By replacing rigid, incredibly costly commercial off-the-shelf licensing with his proprietary cloud-native system, Dhaval's architecture yielded significant annual cost savings per lab and generated a 7-figure enterprise revenue expansion.
He builds systems that scale revenue every bit as efficiently as they scale traffic.
Which brings us to Section 4, Operational Excellence and Leadership, focusing on systems and culture.
Dhaval is absolutely relentless about systemic efficiency and supply chain safety. He doesn't just write code, he fortifies the entire pipeline. We're talking automated CI/CD pipelines, strict static application security testing using checkmarks 1, proactive vulnerability detection via Dependabot, and rigorously standardized pull request workflows.
And if you want the hard operational math proving the value of those workflows, here it is. By streamlining that end-to-end development to deployment lifecycle, Dhaval drove a massive 70% reduction in defect rates. At the exact same time, he expanded delivery throughput by 25 to 30%. So higher quality, shipped faster. That is literally the gold standard of engineering operations.
So, this brings up a really pivotal question for any hiring manager looking at an elite architect. How do they scale their culture? I mean, technical brilliance is great, but can they actually elevate the team around them?
Well, the answer is right here in this extraordinary metric. Dhaval maintains a 9.87 out of 10 average inclusive mentoring feedback score. He fosters a continuous learning culture organization-wide by conducting advanced full-stack workshops, leading lateral technical interviews, and just proactively sharing knowledge. He doesn't just build systems, right? He builds the engineers who build the systems.
And just to solidify that culture-building authority, over his tenure, he's racked up a staggering 32 corporate awards, including multiple Star of the Month and Best Team awards, alongside 24 formal appreciations from peers and leadership alike. He carries a Pathfinder, leading the way status, logging learning hours that are a whopping 248% above the organization average.
Finally, Section 5, the authoritative close, focusing on immediate time to value.
So let's get down to brass tacks. Here are his target engagement parameters. Dhaval is looking for full-time roles, specifically seeking remote or hybrid operational models. He's based near Bhavnagar in Gujarat, India, and he brings immediate execution readiness to any ambitious tech organization that is ready to leverage his architectural horsepower.
Because when you bring Dhaval on board, you're getting a leader who operates on 3 non-negotiable core values: radical transparency, absolute integrity, and an unyielding commitment to execution over administrative overhead. He prioritizes long-term ownership. He's not interested in office politics. He is purely interested in shipping flawless, scalable code.
I want to leave you with this personal professional philosophy. The barrier between a bold vision and its execution is merely the persistence to attempt it and the conviction that it can be achieved. Impossible is nothing. So if your engineering organization has a bold vision that requires deterministic, high-impact execution, the only question left to ask is, how quickly can you get Dhaval Baraiya on your team?